Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome MicroMike from Chat Sports. What's good, bro?
Hey, what's going on, man? Appreciate you letting me on here, talk some NFL, talk some 49ers, some Detroit Lions. Having a hell of a time doing so, man.
Yeah, that's great, man. Tell everybody that can find you on the social media platform.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube. It is Lions Talk with MicroMike by Chat Sports. Real easy. And if you can't do that, just do Chat Sports Lions. Pop up there. Twitter, it's MicroMike85. And on Facebook, it is MicroMike. So just go ahead, hit me up. Talk some good old NFL football.
Yeah, speaking about the Lions, man, it's one of those rough seasons, but you guys had a good. What was the thoughts of your team in the first half when you had that recap of the season?
It's kind of exactly what I thought it'd play out. A lot of bad players on the roster. You got a new regime. We're in the NFC North with a tough squad there with the Green Bay Packers. We had a brutal schedule. So it's cheeks. That was the word I called for. It was absolutely brutal in that first half, but did a little bit better in the second half.
Okay, so what was your thoughts when you guys traded for Stafford for Jared Goff during that time?
Yeah, it was absolutely needed. And the Detroit Lions were not going to be going to no Super Bowl last year. I know a lot of people are upset that we traded him, then he goes to a Super Bowl. But if you look at our team and our roster at that time, as it was this past season, it was god-awful. What's up, Durham, man? That's my guy. And then when, we sent Stafford over to a team that's very good for him. But we got 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and Jared Goff. Very good trade, in my opinion, to get that quality of capital to help transition this rebuild. We got a pick this year with the 32nd pick because of that trade, and we can get a starting wide receiver, get a linebacker, get a safety, really start to build the team the correct way. Actually having depth at position, something that we have never had, I think, since the wheel was invented.
Yeah, I guess this guy's got a question for you. Question to Mike.
Oh yeah, man! I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. What a hell of a pickup in the 4th round. This guy, a lot of people don't understand. Like, his motivation, his motor is insane. When he first came in to the NFL, he says, "I'm taking someone's spot." This guy is physical. Seen him at training camp. He loves getting in. When Okudah was healthy, they were going at it left and right. You could really see this is a Dan Campbell type of guy, high motor, a guy who's going to get in the grind, and he does. He's out doing what people thought he would be, and I think for sure he could be a player kind of like your guy, Deebo Samuel, not as thick as him, but a guy that will do it all for you.
Well, looking into the season, when I saw you guys draft him, I was automatically thinking right off the bat that he has to be one of your guys' better receivers because I looked at guys like Tyrell Williams. I said, he's more like a number 2 if you compliment him, but he's kind of proven at the time he wasn't the guy to begin with. Then you got guys like Brashad Perriman, who I thought could have been a good pickup, but didn't turn out to be exactly the case. But a lot of the receivers you guys brought in was there was this one guy you got from the Titans. I forget his name, Khalif Raymond or something.
Oh, we got Josh Reynolds. We got him from the Tennessee Titans, and the Khalif Raymond, he's the small guy, 5'8". And he's pretty good for, I guess wide receiver 5 or 6, but he's speedy. He can get open. Great route tree. Guy's got solid hands, just not, a number 1 type of guy.
Yeah, definitely, man. So, that's the one thing about the Detroit Lions, man. It's kind of like we expected this team to do a rebuild season, but going into the season, are you very confident in Jared Goff at quarterback?
Yeah, look, I always look at the quarterback position as taking the best player available, and a lot of people, Lions fans, don't want the Lions to take quarterback. In my opinion, if there's one there, go ahead and take him. I think he's okay. I think he's pretty good. He can win if there's a team around him. I just don't know if he's the guy for the Detroit Lions. Matthew Stafford didn't succeed in the Lions, and he is a better quarterback than Jared Goff. So how would Jared Goff succeed when we don't have nearly the amount of weapons that Stafford had when he had Golden Tate, he had Megatron, Reggie Bush at one time when we went 11 wins with the number 2 ranked defense. So I think the Lions should really look at all avenues of the quarterback position. If they don't take one this year, I think next year they probably got to take one.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's a short-term answer, but I guess from this question alone, thoughts on Trey Lance, for me in general, he only had 2.5 game samples. You barely seen very little. Like that Cardinals game, you weren't sure. He had his moments. The Texans game, he had his moments until the second half, until he started lighting up a little. Then, what I like about him is he's a lot better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo is pretty much gone at this point, unless otherwise something changes. But yeah, when I was looking into the beginning of the season, man, we were playing you guys, and we had a good start, and then we started playing crappy at the second half. It looked like you guys were this close to getting into overtime, man. That was like one of those games where we just didn't even step our pedal to the metal and kept it going. Instead, you guys kept coming back.
Yeah, we do that. You know, they're taking the persona right now of our head coach, Dan Campbell. Like I say, we were going to lose a lot of games last year, but this is something that we haven't really done, is we keep fighting, even with the lackluster talent. You know, we got a great coaching staff, not just Dan Campbell, but a lot of former players in this team, and like Deuce Staley, former running back. I mean, it's just they're taking the persona of the coaches, and they keep fighting. I love Trey Lance too. Was really hoping the Lions would potentially get him last year in the draft. Obviously, you guys traded up and got him, but this dude is going to be a very good quarterback for your team. I know a lot of people say, oh, you know, they should go get Aaron Rodgers or somebody else. My thing is just let this guy go. He's got a giant cannon of an arm, dual threat quarterback. He understands by sitting back now. I think he can read defense a little bit better. Seeing Jimmy Garoppolo do it, this guy's going to be I think he's going to be dynamic.
Yeah, with more experience in playing, I think he will get better in no time. It's just all about getting the reps and all the experience he needs. Because I mean, in college, he had very limited experience because he was a 1-year starter in college, and he only had like 17 career starts, 300 plus attempt passes. There's very little film, but that's kind of like you don't know what to expect when he's going to be a starter for the full season because you barely have small little film on him. You can look at the Seahawks and Cardinals game, or you look at the Texans game. There's not really much to look at. I mean, you can look at the college film. That's it. That's all you can get into. But other than that, it's going to be interesting what he does in year 2. So that's what I'm more excited about. Like, I feel like this offense is going to elevate better than what Jimmy did. Jimmy was just a good example of a game manager.
Yep.
He would get the job done. But the interesting question is what we're going to get in return, you know, because I was just at the stream with Grant Cohn, and Grant Cohn was trying to explain about all this stuff. And, you know, he's talking about what like Jimmy G's values probably going down right now because of the surgery. But I don't know. I'd be okay with a 5th round pick at this point if nobody wants him, you know?
Oh, no doubt about it. You know, everybody knows he's on the trade block, so that's going to hurt the compensation and the package that you're going to get. And to me, it's not that big of a deal regarding what you get for him. It's the fact that you got a quarterback now of the future. I think that like we have players that we would love to get rid of, Trey Flowers, but I understand that we all know he's not going to be on this team next year. So to getting a value like you'd like to get, like maybe a 4th or a 3rd, it's not going to happen. So I think that's kind of the same concept there with Jimmy G. Now you could potentially get like a 3rd or a 2nd round pick, maybe a team desperate. Indianapolis Colts, they look like they don't want to get to bring Carson Wentz back. Maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I don't think they're sold on Rudolph, they can do it. You may have to wait till after the NFL draft. Some of these teams that not going to get a quarterback, maybe you can get a little more ransom there for draft capital. We'll see. It's going to be really interesting to see where he goes and how the 49ers adapt with the capital and such.
Yeah, definitely. So do you think Lions take Carl or Willis or ride with Jared Goff this year?
I'm not a big fan of Matt Corral. Matt Corral, quarterback, he's got a big arm. He does have a cannon. I'm concerned about his body size. He's not a big guy. And I'm not talking about height. I'm talking about the meat around his bones. Couple hits here in Detroit, and he could be out. So I'm really concerned about that. Malik Willis, I think he's definitely going to be gone before the 32nd pick. We're not taking a quarterback at 2. I think he will be gone maybe to a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers who covet his services. Sam Howell, I think, was probably the most likely individual to be there at the 32nd pick. I could see the Lions pulling the trigger on him. If you look what he did at the Senior Bowl, our offensive line in the Senior Bowl was cheeks. It was absolutely terrible. They weren't giving quarterbacks much time, but Sam Howell is actually doing a pretty good job with his footwork, getting the ball out to his 1st and 2nd read. He can scramble. A lot of people don't realize that. Getting time outside the pocket to throw to his third, potentially fourth read. I think if the Lions do select a quarterback, it would probably most likely be him at 32 and or 34.
Okay. So, which is the one glaring position that the Lions need to improve this offseason?
Oh man, we got three positions that are absolutely terrible, and they're pretty much equally bad. That's wide receiver position. We really need to get that big body wide receiver. We got a lot of number threes and number fours. A lot of smaller guy. Amon-Ra St. Brown's not that big. Khalif Raymond, who they could bring back, 5'8". Josh Reynolds, we picked him up from the Tennessee Titans off the waiver wire. Not a big guy. Trinity Benson, we made a trade for him with the Denver Broncos. He hasn't done anything. The Lions need to get big. I would love to get a wide receiver like Drake London in the NFL draft, something of his caliber. Don't think he'll be there at 32. Maybe in free agency, they pick up a Michael Gallup type of player. I know he got injured. Maybe they go Michael Williams. They don't franchise tag him with the Chargers. They need to get that. Secondly, safety position. The Detroit Lions are terrible at safety. Will Harris, he actually got moved to the cornerback position. He was our starting safety. He's not. I don't think he's going to be back. When you look at, we got Tracy Walker as a starting safety as well. He's in a contract year. They may not even bring him back. Dean Marlowe was a safety for the Lions. He's not coming back. We literally don't have any safety to help out. They could go ahead and get a Marcus Williams in free agency from the New Orleans Saints. Maybe they take Kyle Hamilton at 2. It's very possible. Very good safety there from Notre Dame. And obviously the linebacker position. We're starting to move to a 4-3, it looks like. Our linebackers are absolutely cheeks. They're bad. And right now we got Derek Barnes, who we selected in the 4th round this last season. You know, he's okay, but we need to get a stud. So I think if you can go ahead and solidify, maybe double up on all three of those positions in the draft equally, I think that'll help the Lions out a lot.
Yeah. And I guess one of your Detroit Lions fans says, don't sign Walker. He must not be that good for you guys if that's the case.
Walker wants some big money. His report, he wants $13 million a year. Now, I think he's okay. I think he's solid, but he's not $13 million a year. We're talking about, one interception this past season. He's a good tackler, but he's not the dynamic hitter that you want in Detroit. If they're going to spend that type of money, go ahead and go to Marcus Williams. You can get May, too, from the Jets. I think that's a better solution to what we're looking for. Someone that can get more turnovers and who's younger, too. If you look at Tracy Walker, he's 27 years old. Lions got the second youngest roster right now in the NFL. You can go get Marcus Williams, who's 25, better playmaker, and is worth more, I think, if you're going to spend that type of money.
Yeah, it's going to depend on the market. But yeah, a lot of these players are asking too much money for whatever their worth is like. But I guess this guy's asking me a question about Sherman. I don't even think Richard Sherman's coming back. I think he's done for good. I mean, he's at a point where he can probably be a coach. So if that answers your question, Rams for life, then there you go. Yeah, debo that like button, and we can switch up to this right here. I got one right here. Let's see. So what's the most priorities for the Lions entering free agency when it comes down to it? Because it's going to come into the offseason and the players you want to retain.
My priority and what I think the Lions should do is not go insane with go ahead and signing big time players to big contracts. That's something that's really affected our team for many, many years. Is we never really drafted well. We always signed big free agents. Trey Flowers, gigantic contract just a couple years ago. It hasn't worked out. So get depth, get selected free agents like a Marcus Williams, like a number 2 wide receiver, maybe in a Michael Williams there, but don't go crazy. Get depth players. You build the team through the draft. Focus on the draft. Focus on getting younger. Stick to the plan. We're not going to the Super Bowl next year. You know, if you want to be like the Cincinnati Bengals, you need to draft well, and that's how you build your football team.
Definitely, man. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Rams for Life. I've been seeing this guy around the comments a lot since I've been seeing him around ever since the NFC West roundtable I do. So he said, just showing support, Rams fan, but I respect the grind, bro. Bring Sherman. I don't think so, bro. He's done. But hey, I appreciate you Rams fan, showing me some love, man. There's nothing against those Ramilias, but I just want to put it out there, man. You guys are okay with me.
Yeah, I think he's done too. You know, and if he comes back, it would be to a team for a Super Bowl team that has an injury, kind of like you've seen with Eric Weddle with the Rams this last year. He came in right at the end of the season.
Yeah, it would have to be a Super Bowl contending team, and Richard Sherman doesn't have to really play this season. He can just wait until the playoffs to sign with a team if he wanted to, just like Eric Weddle did. When you look at it this way, oh, wait. Not Sherman, it's Sharon, the dude with glasses. Oh, you're talking about Chardall, some other guy, the one that's on Grant's show. He's talking about that guy. I thought he meant Sherman.
Yeah, I was thinking it's Richard Sherman as well.
This guy's funny, I got to admit. But yeah, I think he was referring to Chardall, the guy that goes on Grant's show. He's always on my show. So, yeah, when I look at priorities for the Niners, I think a lot of the guys, okay, like, that time you guys traded us Lincoln Tomlinson?
Yeah, he was a bust here, and he ended up doing really good for you guys. Martin Mayhew was your GM, and that I think he kind of snaked us.
And part of that is, man, this guy's going to get some top dollars now, so it's going to be hard for us to retain him. So that would be a guy that I definitely want to bring back because he's a good veteran and he would be dependable. He's not injury prone like most of the guys. That would be a guy I want to bring back. DJ Jones, man, I think he might have priced himself out because defensive tackle is more of a premium. And if you can stop the run and have potential as a pass rusher, there's going to be teams that's going to be paying for guys like DJ Jones, even though he's 6'3", 305 pounds, but he's strong, like really strong. And then you got there's quite a few players that I can think of. Arden Key, he's ascending, coming from the Raiders. This guy's is scratching the surface of what he could do. So that might be one guy I want to bring back, but those are like the three main guys that I probably want to bring. But realistically, I think Lincoln Tomlinson is pretty much going to get more interest for teams like the Jets and Dolphins. Those are teams that want to go with the connection because Saleh, he's already worked with the Niners before, so he knows what Lincoln Tomlinson could do. Mike McDaniels, he just got hired by the Dolphins. He's going to want to bring in somebody like Lincoln Tomlinson to the team, so that can be a possibility. So when I look at
it, guards, they get paid a lot of money in free agency as well. The offensive line. We lost Graham Glasgow a couple years ago to the Denver Broncos. They paid him top 5 offensive line money. He was not a top 5 offensive lineman, so I could see Lincoln Tomlinson getting paid buku money.
Yeah, buku money. But which player from your team that could be getting a big contract if you think, like if he's not like the kind of top guy you were talking about?
I think that if we're going to do a bigger contract to be a player that's not a free agent this year, but potentially next year, maybe TJ Hockenson, the tight end that we drafted, that's going to be a topic of conversation. Should we re-sign him to a big deal? Now, he's been injured the last 2 years, but the talent is undeniable. That is something they got to look at. Again, Tracy Walker, the safety, he is a free agent. Are the Lions going to actually sign him to a bigger deal? The reports are he wants $13 million a year. I just don't know if that's the case. We only have $25 million in cap space right now. If we cut Trey Flowers, he could maybe go to $35 to $40 million. So we don't have a whole lot of money. And the guys that are free agents, we signed to 1-year deals last year. A lot of these guys are not coming back. They're just 1-year rentals.
Yeah, 1-year rentals like that. Like, there's a lot of good players that actually signed a 1-year rental just to prove himself, and then they're gonna go bet themselves elsewhere. So maybe that's where you can get your money's worth. Like, there's some good free agents out there, but their value isn't like good. Maybe I'm overthinking, but I think there's gonna be a guy who's probably gonna not be he's a big name, but not as big as he used to. But Dante Fowler could be one of those bargain signings in free agency. And then you get maybe a guy like Kevin King, who's just whatever. He might just take a bargain deal just to price himself. Just to bet himself a little bit. But when you look at a couple of other players, there's going to be some guys who are going to take a lesser deal to prove themselves, and then they're going to get themselves out of like next year. So you can get one of those guys, but whatever player is convinced to take a reasonable contract, they're going to do it. But people be bringing up Tom Brady coming out of retirement, and it's getting pretty old. I don't even want to hear about it. But yeah, it's been talks about Trey Lance not ready. It's kind of been, I get the media has nothing else to bring. And then when it comes down to the Detroit Lions, man, so what's with this hype with Dan Campbell biting kneecaps, man? I don't get it.
He did a press conference, his introductory press conference, and he talked about biting kneecaps. And it went, a lot of people's like, man, this guy's a meathead. That's not the case. He understands what we have here in Detroit is we've had a finesse, lay down, layover football team, and he wanted to bring more toughness to this team. So kind of the media ran with it like this guy, yeah, he is a dope, and he doesn't know football. He's just some guy lift weights all day, and he eats raw meat and red meat and just some moron. So yeah, the media loves to spill a bunch of garbage. I think they take everything out of context. That's how the media works, at least for the Detroit Lions. That's one reason why I started my YouTube channel. Is there is these media outlets that are absolutely garbage, and I can't take legacy media. And it's one of those things. What's up, Nine Drinks?
Well, Nine Drinks, hey, what's up? But he's calling you the GOAT, man. Guess you are the GOAT because you got the big followers. You got the good channel going on, man. I see you. You're the hype man, man.
I'm definitely the hype man. Big Lions fan, and we've been watching this team misery for so long, so it's nice when we do get a win or something goes right, you kind of get excited. It's not we ain't been to no Super Bowl. 1990 was the last time we won a playoff game, so just getting a win, it's like heaven to us.
Yeah, I don't know if you were checking out those Tom Grossi videos, but they were throwing a reference at you guys saying that you guys would know what hell is or something.
Yeah, Tom Grossi, man. Yeah, we definitely know what hell is like. So when we do win the Super Bowl, I don't know if it happened the next 5,000 years, but when it does happen, it's going to be the greatest feeling of all time, and I can't wait to see it ever happen if I'm alive.
You never know, man. It's always a turnaround team, a Cinderella team. It always comes down to it. Look, I mean, it's just whatever happens. But Detroit, it's like you guys have had this franchise for so many years, but you guys haven't won a championship since 1957. That's a long time. That's a drought, which doesn't count in the Super Bowl era, but that was the last time you guys ever won a championship. And I wonder who it was against this team you guys beat.
Man, it's been a long time. It's 1957. We know all about it. We hear it all the time, and it's just like one day. Like I was really rooting for the Cincinnati Bengals this past Super Bowl because they understand what it's like to really, really suck. And so hopefully one day it will be not 1957 anymore. It will happen. Damn it.
I could enjoy what you're doing, man. You seem like a good hype man, and I guess he's kind of saying your Kool-Aid intake has lowered over the years, so you've lowered your expectations, but you've been very much realistic, which I can respect about that. That's what I like about certain YouTubers. Is like, I don't mind if you're optimistic about your fan, but
Yeah.
just don't get too delusional about your team and say, "Oh, we're going all the way to the damn Super Bowl" when you don't have much of the rosters. Like I look at other teams and I'm like thinking, realistically, I don't know if we're going to even go this year. I keep taking it like one game at a time. Some of these Cowboy fans or Raider fans, they get a little too ahead of themselves, and I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, I took a lot of heat last offseason because I said the Lions are going to go 2 wins to 5 wins. And a lot of Lions YouTubers are like, man, we're going to the playoffs. We got Dan Campbell. He's going to take us to the promised land. And I'm like, folks, you need to slow the roll. Our roster is bad. We got to be realistic here. 2 to 5 wins. That is what we're going to get. Enjoy the highs when you get it, but you got to understand there's going to be a process of a ton of lows. There's a lot of growing pains that's going to take place. So I keep it real, just like my guy, the Dern, says. I don't get drinking that Kool-Aid. That Kool-Aid we have over here is that Jim Jones Kool-Aid, that suicidal Kool-Aid. So don't drink it. Understand what we're doing, roster and the philosophy. But, man, don't say we're going to the Super Bowl because I tell you what, subscribers will never let it down if you say, yeah, we're going to playoffs, and then they don't. They don't forget.
They don't forget. They either just have the receipts or they screenshot or record the video because it's always worth the part of it. But yeah, I like fans who think realistically and doesn't like BS about it. So you're not the Kool-Aid guy, and I could definitely go on football talks about it. But when I look at your team, it can take maybe a couple of years for your team to be very good. Like you get a building block. I like the receiver, St. Brown, that you were talking about. He was like your best receiver that year, and he had 90 plus catches and almost 1,000 yards. But this guy's got the making of maybe being your Debo version,
Oh, 100%. You got to be realistic. You understand the process. We had so many bad players in the last regime that was on this team last year, where Quinn Trisha, head coach, and our GM, they really brought a lot of players in this team that was absolutely terrible. Bad contracts, really hurt this team. This last season, season last year, we had to get rid of these players. So it's a net deficit. And then we only had, at that point, 6 draft picks. So you're not going to be able to really excel this team. Now this year, we still can get rid of some players like Trey Flowers. We can dump some of these contracts, turn around, and now we got 10 draft picks. So maybe we get to 6 to 7 wins. The following year, now, okay, I want to see you to start to compete for a playoff spot, a wild card spot. If Aaron Rodgers is not in the NFC North, try to compete for the NFC North title. But you got to take one step at a time and be realistic. The division is tough. Aaron Rodgers generally wins it. I think he's coming back. Minnesota Vikings, they got a fantastic offense. Cook, running back. They got Thielen, wide receiver Jefferson, doing really good there. You look at the Chicago Bears. They always have a sound defense. They got a new head coach, probably going to do better than Matt Nagy did. So be realistic. Don't smoke all that fumes. Don't take the hopium. Just understand it's a process. Crawl, walk, run. We're in the walk stage.
Yeah, and then I guess Corey's asking you a question. Is Jared Goff going to be your quarterback next season?
That is a big question. I'm not 100% sure on that. It really depends what he does this year. I think the Lions' offense, if it kind of continues on what we did by the end of the year, it could be, because he was really good the last 6-7 games of the season. But the first half he was awful. He was really bad. So it really depends on this season. I don't know. That's a big question mark for all Lions fans.
Yeah, I mean, he's not that bad of a quarterback. It's just your guys are going through some rebuild. You guys barely had any receivers. So I was giving you guys a pass with Jared Goff. I said, man, come on, man. There's barely any wide receivers. There's barely any weapons. All you had was TJ Hawkinson at the beginning of the season as that best weapon. And then St. Brown at some point was going to emerge second half of the season. So that was pretty much the obvious choice of why maybe Goff isn't as bad as people think is. I mean, he did pretty good with the Rams with all that weapons. If you add the Lions a lot of receiving weapons, I think Jared Goff would go back to form that what he had with the Rams. So depends on how you guys use him, but I think he would be the answer, in my opinion, like maybe as a bridge quarterback when you get yourself the right quarterback. Or he might just be the long-term answer, because it's hard to find a quarterback. A guy like
a lot of people dumped on him. The media was saying he's a 32nd ranked quarterback before the season started. I'm like, whoa, you guys are being crazy here. I don't think he's that bad. He's a bridge quarterback, like you were saying. He's a guy that, given a lot of weapons, he can succeed. We've seen it with the Los Angeles Rams last year. He had terrible weapons. It was bad. There's not a whole lot he could do with that when you don't got anything. Yeah, he's not the worst quarterback in the NFL. I say around 16 to 18 type of quarterback, 20 type of quarterback. He's that guy. He's like a Jimmy Garoppolo in my opinion. He's not. I don't think he's the long-term solution, but he's not awful. He's not terrible. He shows that he can be a quarterback that can win football games.
Yeah, that's the point. It's hard to find quarterbacks in this league, and I think Detroit's got somebody to build around with. They just need to give them the weapons. So. As far as like your record prediction, like I know it's probably too early, but I guess he's asking you this. What will your record be next year?
My expectation is 6 to 7 wins. I think that's a good expectation. The schedule is easier. It was brutal last year. I think the Lions are going to get a little bit better offensively, probably going to get 2 receivers, one in the draft, one in free agency, maybe another one as well as kind of like a guide to learn the ropes. I think the Lions defense is going to get better. We do got a great freaking defensive coordinator. So I think the Lions can get to 6 to 7 wins. That's a successful season.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too bad, because it's going into the right direction. There's nowhere to be up at this point, because I mean, you guys only won like a few games in second half. You guys were showing promising. You guys were fighting, and that's what people look at. That's a team that's going to fight no matter what. But when you speak of this, I guess okay. So if Rodgers gets traded, where would you like him to go?
Out of the NFC. I'd love to see him gone. But, if he was to go to a team, Denver Broncos connections, obviously, with the Green Bay Packers there, their head coach is obviously was with Aaron Rodgers. You could look at the Pittsburgh Steelers if they think that they could get a quarterback right there. That'd be an option for them. I just don't think he's getting traded. I think he's going to stay in the NFC North. He's a drama queen. I actually call him Karen Rodgers, because he just wants all the attention on him. Reports are that He's trying to get a $50 million a year contract, and that's kind of why he was complaining, and Devontae Adams to stay with the Green Bay Packers. So I think he stays with the Packers this year and defeats us like he always does.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. And plus, there's one guy that's one of my followers that says the word Karen Rodgers. So you're not alone when it comes down to calling him that. So he is a drama queen. But huge shout out to my boy Corey Davis. He's asking you about Matthew Stafford. How do you feel about Matthew Stafford being traded to the Rams?
I was perfectly fine with it. We were not going to the playoffs this last year. We just didn't have the team for it. He was 34, 35 years old with 2 broken backs. The Lions were not going to go to the playoffs. We get capital to build this football team with 2 first-round picks, 3rd-round pick, and that's exactly what we need to do. He was a quarterback that could take over a team like the Rams and win football games. He's not a quarterback that can take over the Detroit Lions and win football games. Just 2 different rosters, 2 different ends of the spectrum, one in rebuild, one's ready to compete for a Super Bowl. So, good for him that he won it, but he wouldn't have won here.
Yeah, so when I've seen some couple of these videos, I've seen the one with Tom Grossi where a Lions fan actually celebrates that they won the Super Bowl. Did you feel that way when Stafford won the Super Bowl, or you were just like, eh?
Nah, look, he's not a Detroit Lion. Our draft status depended on him winning games. So I wanted them to lose a lot of games. Unfortunately, they won the Super Bowl. We got the 32nd pick. I'm not a Detroit Rams. That's a local shirt around here. Oh, Stafford won the Super Bowl. That means the Lions won. No, it does not mean the Lions won. It means he won a Super Bowl. And so next year, we get still another 1st-round pick, and I'm going to root against him to lose so we can get a better draft pick.
Yeah, I guess that's what I've been hearing, the Detroit Rams. That's what I've been hearing around from this media of your team. And I'm like thinking, is this stuff legit or is this just make-believe stuff?
Man, it's 100% legit. We got local businesses in Detroit selling merchandise as a Ram and a Detroit Lion put together, and it's saying Detroit Rams. So it's 100% legit. It's annoying. It's stupid. The Lions, Detroit did not win a Super Bowl. It was the Rams.
Hey, I guess David McNew agrees on the Aaron Rodgers part, but he says trade Karen Rodgers to the Texans. Now that's worse.
Oh, I'd love that. I would love to see him go to the Texans and then hate life and miserable to that organization. Please do it just out of spite.
Oh no, I already gave him the question of that. He already answered about that. He wants him out of the NFC.
Yeah, 100%. Get him out of the NFC, go to the AFC.
Yeah, definitely, man. So looking into okay, let's put it like for the Detroit Lions. So going into the draft, who do you have as your draft crush that you want to check out, and then you're hoping that the Lions can just get the guy in the draft?
Guy who I really like, and I've been on this since week 4 this last season, is Kyle Hamilton, the safety out of Notre Dame, 6'2", big body, thumper, and playmaker. The Lions need help at safety in a big, giant way, and I think this guy is one of the best safeties to probably come out in 30 years. I would love to get him. I don't think they're going to take him. I think they're probably going to go Kayvon Thibodeau, the edge rusher out of Oregon. They like to have players that can do multiple roles. He can play 3-4, 4-3 as well. And if you look at what Brad Holmes done for the Rams, he loves Oregon Ducks. We have obviously Penei Sewell, who we drafted. We got former Oregon Ducks quite a bit. I think 4 players on this team, and that's just kind of the role he goes. But man, Kyle Hamilton would be amazing.
Oh yeah, Kyle Hamilton's a big safety from Notre Dame, so he's like a big, rangy safety. He's a ball hawker. Yep. I've heard a lot of good things about him, but since the Niners are not going to get somebody in the 1st round, we're probably going to have to wait to the late 2nd round. So I'm trying to hope and pray maybe we get this guy if he slides. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we get this Kobe Bryant kid because I think he might move the draft boards a little. So then.
What's amazing about this year's draft is there's a lot of talent in the 2nd and 3rd rounds. And there's a couple blue chip players, but other than that, a lot of players kind of mixed right there. So you're going to get a solid talent end of the 2nd round. And I think that even if you traded back, gain some more draft picks, you're going to get really good players maybe in the 3rd round. It's something that I'm happy that we got 2 3rd-round draft picks because you can really build the team on a depth-wise and get some quality players in these rounds. So you definitely will. I think Kobe Bryant, good corner. I think you probably get him in the 3rd round. I do like Kobe Bryant. He did well in the Senior Bowl. A lot of good players in this draft. It's gonna be really awesome to see where they place and what team they go to.
Yeah, I'm a bit overhyping on some of my Oklahoma players. I like that Benito guy, the Nick Benito from Oklahoma, or Isaiah Thomas. But if I had to be realistic on who I want from Oklahoma, is that guard Marquise Hayes. I'm probably going to do a stream either the next few days and do some scouting report of him. I like the guy from Oklahoma. He's a mauler. He's a power blocker. Oh, we got a Bears fan, Jonah Pippany.
What's up? What's up, JP, man? I was on his show. Good dude, man. He's a realistic Chicago Bears fan, and we understand the pain.
He's a really good dude. I've had him on my show, and he's a member of the crew also, so he's a member of the unit, so he's a good dude.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt.
Yeah, and draft's going to be exciting. Yeah, like you just said, there can be some good players you can get in the second round, also in the third round. So that's the best part. So even if you get some extra third round picks, you're still going to get yourself a solid starter from day one. And MicroMike, who do you want your first? I think he said Kyle Hamilton, right?
Yeah, Kyle Hamilton would be my pick if I was the GM. He's just dynamic. Safety going that high is insane a lot of people's minds, but I always believe draft BPA regardless of position. I just feel this guy is just an insane safety, and he can make plays for our defense.
Yeah, he seems like a game changer at that position, which is something we've been lacking. So it's like Jaquiski Tarry is going to be a free agent, so he is going to maybe sign elsewhere. So we might want to go at safety, or maybe we just give the kid Hufanga an opportunity to be a starter, which he's kind of shown some okay flashes, but his coverage needs some work. But other than that, I like the kid from USC that we drafted last year.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. And you're talking about getting that guard. That could be replacing Laken Tomlinson there and keeping your offensive line stout.
Yeah, we need to get somebody like him. I mean, we did draft it high on Aaron Banks, and I don't know if he's going to pan out. Like, the jury's still on Aaron Banks, so we'll see if he can pan out or not. We did draft this kid from Western Michigan, Jalen Moore, who was swinged. He was moved to tackle, but he can play guard too. So maybe we got an answer there because he kind of showed some promising when he got to play a little bit of tackle.
Mm-hmm. We got a guard here too, center guard Evan Brown, who's a free agent. This guy is an absolute monster. He came in for the Lions at Frank Ragnow went down, our Pro Bowl center, and it was like there was nothing there. So if you guys end up signing an Evan Brown, make sure this ain't no chump, man. This guy is actually a really good guard.
Yeah, and then speaking of Anthony Lynn, what was the situation in Detroit with him? Like, why did he have to part ways? Which
he's a really good coach. Man, he's really respectable. Understand? I mean, it just didn't work out with the philosophy of what we're trying to do here on offense and Jared Goff and Dan Campbell. It was a good parting of ways. There was no negative towards it though. So. They just didn't get along in a sense of scheme wise. That's it. It had nothing to do with anything else. There was no other issues. And I think you guys getting him as your assistant head coach is a good hire. Anthony Lynn is a good coach. He knows how to understand. He knows players. He knows how to relate to them. He has good scheme wise. Just the scheme didn't fit from what we're trying to do. Dan Campbell is an extremely aggressive play caller, because he took over play calling for the Lions. And Ben Johnson, who our offensive coordinator is now, is extremely aggressive. We went on fourth down most in the NFL, and I think that just didn't fit well with what Anthony Lynn was doing. He's not as aggressive as what we're trying to be here.
Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. Like, some of them were thinking, well, if Lynn didn't pan out with the Lions, then what makes you think he's going to work out with San Francisco? And I think it's a lot to do with the scheme we run. Yep. So I think Shanahan –
you guys don't have to worry about that. He's a good coach. Just we're super aggressive, and you guys like to run the football. He loves to run the football as well. So you'll see that as well. But I would not worry about that from your fan base.
Yep, I think it's more about running the ball the way how he's been scheming it. So it's a good philosophy, and yeah, hopefully it's a good draft class. But yeah, Detroit, there's a bright future for you guys. You guys have a chance to improve better than the previous year, and you can build around your talent and all that. I mean, you got St. Brown as your future star receiver who could be your number one, or maybe you get somebody to complement him. And then TJ Hawkinson, he's shown some signs that he can be a really good tight end in this league.
He just got to stay healthy. That is it, man. If he can stay healthy, he is a difference maker. And last year, he was the main guy. Like, we had no freaking weapons. So imagine if we can actually get weapons. It'll open him up in the middle of the field where he does a lot of damage. He's very good blocking for the running game. Just needs to stay healthy, and I tell you what, that could be a difference maker. Someone says I love Smoke Monday. Smoke Monday is a beast, big body as well. I'd love for the Lions to target him in the mid rounds, and his name is Smoke Monday. How the hell can you not have a guy like that on there? What's up, Brandon Kenny?
Brandon Kenny, what's up, man? I guess you got your couple of your Lions posse in the building, man. You got a lot of them that came earlier. It's kind of cool, man. I got nothing against you guys. I think you guys have a like more of a faithful fan base in your own mind. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you guys were probably one of the very few who were around the time we guys had terrible years. It's all about having faith in the future, you know. Good teams.
Yeah, we're a cool fan base, man. We've been through hell, so it doesn't really affect us that much. Like, people can troll. They may troll, say, "Oh, Lions suck." It's like, yeah, we know. Like, it doesn't hurt us, man. We already know this.
Well, then you got your boy Don Burr who comes up with the troll, man. Like, he's talking about Detroit versus everybody. Like, what?
Don Burr is a legend, man. He goes to every single, I don't even know how the time he gets it, but he goes to every single page. He's always messing with my guy Harrison Graham, HG the GOAT for BGN Sports. I love it. It's hilarious, but that guy, he's definitely a Lions fan through and through.
Yeah, and then having John Radford on my show, like almost last year, he was a good dude on the Last Second Sports. Like, he knows his stuff, and he's telling me, well, I've been around the hard times. I'm still repping the Lions, man. And you know, man, I just don't give a damn about the records. I know that this is what the team's going to be, you know. So he keeps it real. That's what I like about John Radford in some ways, that he talks, you know.
Oh yeah, Rad there from Oregon. Yeah, he's part of Lions Nation as well. Little thing, we're hooked up with Herman Moore, Lions great, and Lomas Brown. So yeah, he's a good dude, man.
Yeah, Don Burke could be a really good troll at times. That's one thing people don't get. Like, I think whatever he says, I think he just gets it to drive people nuts. Like, I think the Detroit versus everybody just seems like a troll job when he says that.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. We got our troll. I'm glad he's on our side for sure. We also, there's a troll out there, Ghosted You to Try for Chicago Bears. He's a fantastic troll. I love it when he comes out there and destroys all the people's teams. You got to love it, man. It's not personally, just having a good time.
I'm not a big fan of him. He took shots at me, calling me a homosexual or some shit like that.
That's what he does, man. He is a troll through and through. And I don't take that stuff personal at all.
Yeah, I try to come up with better common sense. But yeah, a lot of the guys are cool. Like Jonah, I'm cool with. I mean, everybody else, like there's quite a few trolls I can go with. But yeah, Don Burr is definitely one of those funny ones. And then you got Jets Gang. I don't know if you've ever seen Jets Gang come around, but that dude's like one of the funnier ones.
I've never seen Jets Gang. I've never been introduced to him. Maybe if we face the Jets, down the road, he'll come in and start trolling. But for sure.
No, yeah, I guess you would say he's more like your Don Burr, like he's more like the Don Burr of the Jets, but just a little off his mind. Like, he said the Jets are going to the playoffs or something. Like, come on, man.
Hey, sometimes there's a lot of homers out there for their fan base, and when they go on every team they love is going to the Super Bowl that year.
Man, I wish I could see Don Burr in the comments, man. Maybe he can say something about versus everybody.
Hey, Detroit versus everybody, man. Eminem said it the best.
Yeah, Mama Spaghetti or something. I heard there's a restaurant called that in Detroit. Is that true?
Yeah, he opened it up over there in Detroit, Mom Spaghetti, just like his old rap there. He's a legend there for us. That's pretty much all we got here in Detroit.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I never knew that until I've heard it from Don Burr saying it from my boy Tommy. So yeah, Jets are shit.
Yeah, you gotta love it, man. You gotta love it.
Yeah, you gotta love it, man. But I know you're probably gonna do some quarterback scouting. But hey, maybe down the road we can definitely collaborate again, man. I like your intakes. I know everything was kind of good timing, dude. Perfect timing to get in contact, man. I'm more than likely will getting info with you on Twitter. You got a good thing going on. I've checked out a couple of your good info on your team, and I said, hey, this is what it could be, and then It's all good, man. Like, I think you guys are just gonna have to build up slowly. Takes time.
Yeah, man, that's the way you got to do it, man. You got to be patient. I know a lot of people want to go to the Super Bowl every year. That's just not the case for our football team. We're in rebuild mode year 2, man. Just take some time.
It sure does, man. But before we end the show, I'm going to give you your final introduction. Your final introduction on the solo screen, and you can tell the audience where to find you or to say thank you or anything like that.
Hey, man, appreciate everybody coming out. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, even if you're a Lions fan. This is what we do. We support each other. If you're not a Lions fan, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. It is Lions Talk with MicroMike by Chat Sports. If you can't find it that way, do Chat Sports Lions. My face will show up. And you can find me on social media, MicroMike85, Facebook, MicroMike, and we get it done, man. Hell of a time, regardless of whatever team you're a fan of.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate it, man. It was a good chit chat. I know I'm probably gonna have to go check out some scouting combine, a lot of good stuff, man. But hey, man, like 9 Drinks, appreciate for the great show. Everybody else, man, it's just great to have everybody in the chat, man. But yeah, down the road, bro, I'm gonna have to get back with you in contact, and we can definitely discuss down the road, man. I like what you do, so
no doubt, man. No doubt, man. Football talk, love it.
Love it too, man. So as always, CG Ruthless Sports and MicroMike is out, and you already know. Go Niners.
One pride.